us how to live what actions should we do at bodily platform, at bodily level, at social level, at mental level, and then the platform of soul. What we are supposed to do and what we are not supposed to do. Both things Bhagavad Gita is informing us. So that was a topic for today, Life's Manual Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is all comprehensive book. So that's what Krishna says in 16th chapter, almost the second last verse. Tasmat shastram pramanam te kare akare vyavasthitau. 16th chapter, 24th verse, 23rd and 24th verse. And Krishna says, Tasmat shastram pramanam te. Follow, regulate your life according to scriptures, shastra. And shastra word comes from the word shas, Prabhupada says, means shasan. Shasan means to regulate. So those books are designed to regulate your life at all levels. Kare akare avisthitau. Krishna says you should know what to do, kare, and akare, what not to do. Both things you have to know. You should know what is light and what is darkness. Because if you only know light, you will lose its value. And if you only know darkness, you will be full of fear. But if you know light and darkness both, then we can appreciate light. Is it? If we don't know darkness, we cannot appreciate light. So many people, and that's what Krishna says. Rasarjam rasopyasya. If you have a higher taste, can we ask that Mataji to do something? Okay, thank you. So that's the idea. If you have higher taste, you will lose lower taste. If you have taste of light, you will lose taste for darkness. If you have taste for permanent, you will lose a taste for temporary. If you have taste for eternity, you will lose the taste for whatever gets destroyed. If you have taste for immortality, you will lose taste for death. That's said in Upanishads. So we need to know both darkness and light. And that's why Krishna says you should know what to do and what not to do. So at every level we have to know. So Bhagavad Gita 16th chapter, it will help you to understand what to do and what not to do at the level of body. Okay, we do actions at the level of body, is it? We talk, we see, we interact with people. So how to talk, how to see, how to interact with people, how to speak, everything Krishna says in 16th chapter specifically. Krishna also instructs in Bhagavad Gita what to do at the level of society, social level, how to act at social level. That is, at social level we generally do two things, achar and vyavahar. Is it? Society, what we do? What we do society? Vyavahar means we treat other people in a particular fashion. Everybody, is it? Some people are friends, some people are enemy. And also we try to project our image to people. Okay, I am this. In society we do like this, no? Like in society you try to project yourself, okay, I am a gentleman. Or a terrorist, he will like to project himself, I am the most dangerous man on the earth. Or maybe a businessman will like to project, I am the most smart person on this earth. No, that's achar. How do you carry yourself? So Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter and 14th chapter explains us how to deal with the society, how to actually act in the society. And then Krishna also tells us what to do and not to do at the level of mind, mental level. And that's also in Bhagavad Gita. What to think and what not to think. Again, you have to go to 16th chapter and 17th chapter to know what to think, what not to think. We are not free to think anything. We should be trained how to think. And that all these things are in details explained in Dharma Shastra. Dharma Shastras are helping us to understand what should be our actions at the level of body, mind, and society. That's what they're training. That is what Sri Ramchandra, he came for. Sri Ramchandra, he was Maryada Purushottam. And he followed Dharma Shastra and showed us how to practice them. So, what is the most classical example of Dharma Shastra? Manu Samhita. We all know, ne? Prabhupada says, no? Manu Samhita is the best book for Dharma Shastra. If you want to know Dharma means our actions at the level of body, mind, and society. Dharma doesn't mean some kind of ritualistic things. That's a wrong understanding. That's not religion. For that there are scriptures. So we have Manu Samhita. That's the best book and the prototype book. And then there are 32 Dharma Shastras more. 32. That's the list. That's what we have. 32 Dharma Shastras. And among them, some are very famous. For example, we have Bodhayan Smriti. And so you can remember these names because it will help you to impress people, first of all, if you are preaching. And second thing is, mostly we are preaching people who are who don't know anything. Is it? Our preaching is almost वो हिंदी में कहते हैं ना, अंधों में काना राजा. You know this? So in English, is there any parallel thing for this? Andho mein kana raja. Our preaching is almost like there are so many fools, and you are a better fool than them. So you are telling them, it's like that. But if you happen to meet some scholarly person, then you will have tough time to preach to them. So they might ask you, so you're talking about Sarv Dharman Paritajye. So can you name any scripture which talks about dharma? And you might say, come on, which scripture talks about dharma? Bhagavatam? Come on, no. Chaitanya Nita? No. Bhagavad Gita? Some point. But main scripture which talks about dharma is Manu Samhita. And then there is, and then the next name comes is Bodhayan Smriti. This you should remember. Bodhayan was the name of Rishi. He wrote Dharma Shastra. And then you have Gautam Smriti. So Gautam Muni also wrote a book on Dharma Shastra, Gautam Smriti. And then you have Ashvalayan Smriti. Ashvalayan was a Rishi. And then famous is Vishwamitra Smriti. This we know. Vishwamitra, everybody you know. So these are one of few famous Dharma Shastras which you should know. At least the names. You don't need to read it. But names you should remember. And Manu Samhita you should not forget. If you forget Manu Samhita, and if you go and try to preach somebody, and if they ask you what is the Dharma Shastra, and if you forget Manu Samhita, instead of you giving them laddu, they will give you laddu and say, go back to home. You can't afford to forget the names of these books. So that is Dharma Shastras, okay. So Dharma Shastras, if you read all Dharma Shastras, you will be perfect gentleman. Either you can read all Dharma Shastras, or alternatively you can read Valmiki Ramayana. Because Ram is following all those codes and conducts, and by his personal example, he is teaching us how to act personally in society, what to think, what not to think. He is setting maryada. Dharma helps us to set maryada, the limits which we cannot cross. So like for example, you are sitting in a lecture. Most of you are sitting in this position, no? So none of you sit in an awkward position, okay? So you don't sit with your legs in front of me, is it? You don't sit like that. But if some American comes, he will sit like that. He might sit like that, no? I have given lectures, American comes, he might sit with legs facing towards me. Is it? But according to Dharma Shastra, that is wrong. We are trained by culture, no? We should not sit by legs facing the speaker. In fact, in Dharma Shastra it is said, if you sit with legs facing towards the speaker, and if a king comes to know that, the punishment for that is they will cut your legs. That's a punishment for that. And that is why most of us, we have to sit like this, because if you sit like this, then your legs are hidden. And most of the times, culture also demands us to wear dhoti or sari, because in dhoti and sari, our legs are hidden. You can hide. In this pant or pajama, salwar kurta, you can't hide your legs. And and in Dharma Shastra it is said, if you go to a respectable person, if you sit like this, and they can see your legs, not just, then your legs will be cut. They'll cut your legs. That's all. That is, the Dharma Shastras are very strict, and it was there in our culture. Although we don't know the consequences of that. In fact, this was not just in India. If you go to Rome and Greece, they had slaves. You know this? There was slavery. So so in Rome and Greece, they didn't have dhotis, like they were slaves, no? Slaves were wearing just some kind of cloth. So they were supposed to sit like this Prabhu is sitting. And this is called so what do we say? So it is called as Vajrasan. Yeah, Vajrasan. You have to sit like this, because in this you can't see the feet. And that was the standard of a culture and actions. So all these things are there. So we have limits of how to sit in public. There are limits how to sit in your home. There are limits what to speak, what not to speak. Is it? So all these things Ram was teaching us. Lord Ram, he came to set Maryada. But there are some actions which we have to do at the level of soul also. We talked about body, society and mind. Ram taught that. But Ram didn't teach us what to do at the level of soul. Not exactly explicitly. That incarnation was not to tell us what to do at level of soul. What is the action of soul? What should we do? What should not we do? And for that Krishna came. Krishna took incarnation. He said, okay, the most important is soul. Fine. Ram taught body, society and mind. But what about soul? That's the most important thing. So Krishna came and he acted, he spoke Bhagavad Gita, and he said the only action at the level of soul is surrender. Sharnagati. And this is what we are going to talk today. Sharnagati. Surrender. And in Bhagavad Gita, he concluded Bhagavad Gita as surrender unto me. Is it like that? So what is surrender? That's the question. Other things, Maryada, you can read Ram Leela. Even if you don't understand Maryada, no problem. But if you don't understand surrender, you can't afford to keep your body and lose your soul. You can't afford to do that. And that is what Chanakya Pandit said. For this society, we can leave a family. For the nation, we can leave society. For the entire world, for the benefit of entire world, we can leave the nation. But for the benefit of soul, we can leave entire world. As Chanakya Pandit said. So that soul is the most important thing. That's the crux. And that's why Krishna came. Okay, fine. The only thing you have to do at level of soul is surrender. Soul is interested only in surrender to God, nothing else. Nothing else. It's not interested in money, it's not interested in career, it's not interested in anything, only surrender. Whatever we are doing at level of body, mind and society, if it doesn't help us to... so if all these actions doesn't help soul to surrender to Krishna, they are almost waste. No? Shrimad Bhagavatam says that, no? So which is that verse? Anybody knows that? Without... next. Dharma sonishtita pumsam vishvak senu kathasuya na utpade dadiratim shrama evahi kevalam. If you follow religion perfectly, if you are a perfect gentleman, if you always help your family, if you don't speak lies and you help people around you, but by doing that, So if you follow Ram, his teachings perfectly, but if you don't develop love for him, love for Krishna, it's waste. It is useless labor. It is like that example is given. So it is like hitting an empty husk. Is it? If you take empty husk, if you hit it, nothing will come out. No rice, no wheat, just husk. It is waste of time. Just waste of time. In God's eyes, your goodness has no value. If you don't love Him, it has no value. But if you love Him, then it is an ornament. Otherwise, no value, is it? Like, so that example is given. Suppose you have a female. Suppose there's some female, and she is very beautiful. So, and then she goes to a beauty parlor and does makeup. So she appears more beautiful. No, after makeup, beauty parlor, females generally they look more beautiful. But if suppose you have a female who is died, and then you take the dead body to beauty parlor and put all makeup, and then you bring her, she will no longer be more beautiful. It will be a horror movie for you. She'll become more ugly by that makeup, because she's dead, no life, no. So without life, all this ornamentation and makeup, it brings more ugliness, not beauty. But with life, it is an add-on. It makes you more beautiful. Similarly, without love of Krishna, all your goodness is like makeup. All your goodness and gentleness, not speaking lie, not hating others, whatever values you have, without love of God, it is simply like makeup on dead body. You will look more ugly in the eyes of God. But if you have love of God, and then you have all goodness, then it is like ornamentation and makeup, and you look more beautiful. That's the idea there. So what the duty of soul is to surrender. Okay, fine. But now here's the question: what is surrender? Why do we surrender? And how do we surrender? These three questions are must, because that is a function of soul. And we have to understand what is a function of soul. If we don't understand what is the action of soul, then soul is not doing anything. Your body is doing, but your soul is not doing. And Upanishad says, those who don't act on the platform of soul, they are killers of their own soul. Killers. Soul doesn't die, but but killers of own soul means your soul becomes weak day by day. Surrender gives you strength. Otherwise, soul becomes weak. And then we are prone to temptations of this material world. A weak soul is prone to temptations of flesh. A weak soul is prone to temptations of matter. And we will be lost in this world of delusion. That's what Krishna says. Krishna says, if you don't listen to me, you'll be lost in this forest of illusion. You'll be lost. So, what is surrender? Why do we surrender? How do we surrender? Or let's switch it like that. First question is, why do we surrender? Next question is, how do we surrender? And last question is, what is surrender? Okay, so can anybody tell me, why do we surrender to God? Why do we have to surrender to Him? People can say, okay, I'll earn money, and I'll become businessman, good businessman, I will take care of my family. Sometime I'll come to this temple and offer my puja, and that's all. Surrender? Come on. That we will do in old age. That's what is usual thing, no? In old age we'll do, or maybe next life something, but this life it's okay. So why do we have to surrender? We should know the reasons for that, no? So we earn money, all of us earn money, because we know why you need money. That's why you earn money, no? You know the mechanics of why. You earn money because you need money for life, For food, shelter and clothing. Is it? If money couldn't buy food, shelter and clothing, we would not have been earning money. Simple as that. So, you know the reason to earn money, that's why you are earning money. So you should know the reason to surrender. And then we will surrender to Krishna. So why do we surrender to Him? What's the answer? Why do we want to surrender to Him? Why do all saints, all religion order us to surrender to God? Islam means surrender. The word Islam means surrender, by the way. Surrender to Allah. And even in Christianity, the word surrender comes. So in one of the names of God, the word surrender comes. So I was telling, in Hebrew, one of the names of God is Adonai. And Adonai means surrender. And attraction. That is the meaning. So can anybody tell me, why do we want to surrender to Him?
Somebody superior, so is that.
Okay, He is superior, but then why only God? He might say, let's surrender to Mr. Trump or... Okay, good. So first reason is, okay, this is a reason, fine. Jivera Swarup Hoye, Krishna Nitya Das. We have heard this. The meaning of this is Jivera Swarup Hoye. That's what Mahaprabhu says. Mahaprabhu doesn't say Jivera Kare Hoye, Jivera Dharma Hoye, Jivera Swarup Hoye. And Swarup means, Mahaprabhu is saying surrender is the need and not the goal. It's a need of your life. It's your Swarup, is it? You are that. You are that. You need that. So for example, body needs food. That's demand, no? Demand of body. That is demand of soul is surrender. That's soul. Soul wants to surrender. It wants to surrender. Without surrendering, just as without eating body becomes weak, similarly without surrender soul becomes weak. So that's Jivera Swarupa. Prabhupada says it is a duty to surrender. No, that's one thing. So we are His part and parcel, just like sun and sunlight. So we must serve Him. Is it? That's first reason. Okay, fine. But you know what? This reason is a philosophical reason. It's our duty to surrender to Him. Okay, fine. But as we advance in devotion, we understand surrender is a much deeper process. You don't just surrender because it's my duty. No. There is something more to surrender, is it? So, like for example, you don't so you don't serve your parents just because it is your duty. It is more than duty, no? You like them, is it? You like them. So first thing is surrender is not just duty. It is an unavoidable duty. That's the meaning of Swarup. You can't avoid it. And that is why scripture says if you don't surrender to God, you will lead a sinful life. That's sin. That Swarup means unavoidable. If you don't surrender to God, you will suffer. If you don't eat, you will suffer. Your body will suffer. Diseases. And if you don't surrender, you will suffer. So the first reason to surrender is we don't have any option. That's the idea. It is an unavoidable duty. Who else you will surrender to? Your parents? They themselves are in birth and death. They themselves have no clue what to do with life. How can you surrender to parents? To this government? This government is robbers. Is it? Bhagavatam says, Dasyus. In Kali Yuga, government will become dacoits and robbers. And they will tax people unnecessarily and exploit them. No? You want to surrender to them? Come on. So, whom to surrender? There's no option other than God. That's the first reason to surrender. There's no option. So one of the saint of South India, he was Alwar, and you might have heard his name, Nammalwar. You have heard his name, Nammalwar? Yeah, he's famous. So he was sitting in meditation, and Vishnu came to him. And Vishnu asked him, why do you want to surrender to me? And you know what Nammalwar said? He said, he didn't answer him, he counter questioned him. And he asked him, do you have any other better option than that? Vishnu he had no answer, he just kept quiet. He just got, that is Jivira Surupa Krishna Nityadas. Is there any other better option? No better option. So that's the first reason we surrender. And the second reason we surrender to him is to get free of obstacles which lie in the process of surrender. And the main obstacle which comes between him and us, which prevents us to surrender to him 100%, is what? What is the main obstacle which is preventing us to surrender to him 100%? Yeah. So that is, myself or ahankar. That is called ahankar. We ourselves are stopping ourselves from going to him. That's all. Nobody is stopping. That's all. Prabhupada said in one of his lecture, you can become pure devotee in 1 second. Just now you can become pure devotee if you want to. But the problem is we don't want to. We want in mind, but we don't want in soul. We want at the level of intelligence, but we don't want at the level of heart. There's a problem. It's not deep. It's not full. So that is called ahankar. Ahankar means you stop yourself from going towards Krishna. You destroy yourself. That's ahankar. You are planning to destroy yourself. That is ahankar. So the ahankar is so dangerous. That's why Krishna says, first get rid of this ahankar. Otherwise, forget about enemy destroying yourself. You will be planning to destroy yourself. That is so dangerous. That's why Krishna says, Kamesha, Krodesha, Rajuguna, Samudbhava. What's that? Rajuguna, Samudbhava. Mahashano, Mahapapma, Vidyam, Enam, Iha Vairinam. Krishna says, first conquer this enemy, lust. And lust is ahankar. That you. So there's a famous example of So there's a famous example of this Kalidas. You know this Kalidas? He was sitting on a branch of a tree, and he was cutting the same branch. He was sitting on that branch and cutting the same branch. So he was the most foolish person in the entire kingdom. But nevertheless, by mercy of Kali, he became the most intelligent. So that's what we are doing. Without understanding God, this ahankar in us will make us plan to destroy ourselves. That's what we are doing. So we take shelter of Krishna to get rid of all these obstacles, especially myself. My mind is an enemy now. To get rid of this ahankar, to get rid of this foolishness, misconceptions, so that we can surrender to him. Okay, these are 2 points. Why do we surrender? But then, this is not the end. There's more to surrender. This is a beginning. And the third point to surrender is the most important point comes. The point is, we don't surrender to God for us. We surrender to Krishna for him. There's a difference. Most of the people come to temple for themselves, isn't it? They come for themselves. So people who have no knowledge of scriptures or Bhagavad Gita, they come and they pray for themselves. Krishna, I have this problem. I have this issue. I don't have peace, happiness. Please help me. But a devotee comes to Krishna, and what he prays. And a person who is not a devotee, he comes to Krishna and prays, Krishna, please help me. Please give me happiness and peace. A devotee comes to Krishna and he says to Krishna, Krishna, I will help you. Employ me in your service. And I will give you peace and happiness. Now this is difficult to understand, no? Because then we will say, come on, you will help God? And you will give him peace and happiness? It seems crazy, no? And that is why common people cannot understand this. Common people, it's beyond the understanding. Until unless we understand who God is and how he thinks, we will not be able to accept this proposal. But in fact, Srila Prabhupada in Shrimad Bhagavatam, I'll quote you, 9.9.64. 9th canto, 9th chapter, 64th verse, purport. Go and read that. And Prabhupada writes a beautiful commentary on that. It comes in Bhagavatam, and Prabhupada writes, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is self-sufficient. Is it? He is self-sufficient. No, he has everything. How can we help him? He can help entire world. Vasudeva Kutumbikam. But to enjoy his bliss, he requires the cooperation of his devotees. That's what Prabhupada says. In Vrindavan, although Krishna is full in himself, he wants cooperation of his devotees, like cowherds and gopis, to increase his bliss. So that's what Prabhupada says here. Not only does God enjoy the company of his devotees, but because he is unlimited, he wants to increase his devotees unlimitedly. This is Krishna consciousness movement, Prabhupada says. And Prabhupada gives an example. Here's an example he gives. He gives an example. Suppose there's a man who is very rich. Is it? He has everything. He has money, name, fame, everything. But if that person doesn't have son, will he enjoy? No. And we have seen in history, they were big kings, but they didn't have son. And they were very miserable. Because you need son, no? They need son. And that is why in Bhagavatam there's a story of Chitraketu who didn't have a son. He was so sad, and then Narad Muni comes and they give blessings, and then they have son. So that's Prabhupada gives example, or Bhagavatam gives example. Just like a rich man who has everything but without son, he is frustrated and depressed. Similarly, Krishna has everything but without son, without his devotees, he will not feel happy. He needs his devotees to be fully happy. So that is why we surrender to him. We surrender to him to increase the number of his devotees, to increase the number of his sons. You know what, previously, like 50 years back just, people used to have 10, 11 sons, no? 11 children, no? It was like a cricket team, people used to have. But now, in fact, now you have just 1, 2 because of economical constraints or maybe physical constraint. Females are not strong enough to produce 11 babies. 3 babies, they'll die probably. Or they will have some kind of medical problems. But previously they used to have 11, 12, 15. I have seen 15 children also. So 1 or 2 will die and others will live. Why? Because it gives pleasure. Is it? It gives pleasure. Children give pleasure. And then your children get married, and then the grandparents, they have just one goal in the life, one desire, that the children should have more children. Is it? And then you have small children, and then you enjoy. So it's similarly like that. Krishna feels happy when he has many children. And his children are devotees. So our job in this material world is to increase his children. That's why we come to him, to increase the number of devotees. And that is called preaching mission. We do preaching so that we convince them and take them back to Krishna. Why? So that Krishna becomes happy. He will enjoy. If he has more devotees, he will be more happy. If he has less devotees, he will be less happy. So we come to Krishna to make him happy, not to get happiness. We come to Krishna to help him. The only unhappiness within Krishna is that people in this material world are suffering without him. Is it? Now Krishna is full of happiness, but this doesn't mean that he will be happy that we are rotting in this material world. That's complete nonsense, no? Because if you put so if you say Krishna is happy, Krishna is so happy that we are all rotting in this material world, then he is not compassionate, is it? Then he is hard-hearted. Then you can't do mercy if you don't feel the sufferings of other person. Understand? I can help others if I feel his sufferings. Otherwise, there's no concept of mercy. No concept of mercy. If I'm happy, even after seeing his sufferings, I will not help him. And the greatest quality of Krishna is mercy. And that is, the mercy is called queen of all qualities, no? Whenever we talk of God, everybody talks of his mercy, no? His kripa, his compassion to everybody. And that means that he feels the sufferings of others. He doesn't suffer, but he can feel the sufferings. Is it? So we go to road, there's a beggar, and that beggar is in cold, he's just in cold with no clothes. He's hungry. So you can feel his sufferings, but you don't suffer. You're not suffering, you're not hungry, you are in coats. That's nice, but you can feel what it is like to be hungry and what it is like to be in cold. So Krishna doesn't suffer, but he can feel your sufferings. And that, and what he can feel exactly what it is like to be in this material world. He can exactly feel what it is like to be in this body, bonded in this body. He knows this is extremely miserable. To be in Seattle, it's extremely miserable. You don't know, but he knows. He knows. He knows. A dog in the street or a pig in the drain, it can't understand how much suffering it is. But we can understand. Come on, it's like wasting life. It's so much suffering. So he can exactly understand. So his mission is to come here regularly in form of incarnations and reclaim and help us to go back to him. That's his mission. And Prabhupada says we must participate in his mission and help him in his mission. That is why we come to him, to help him. Just like soldiers come to king. Oh king, we'll fight for you. Just like monkeys of Ram, no? Is it? All these monkeys who helped Ram, they didn't come to Ram for their own peace and happiness, no? They came to Ram and Ram said, will you fight for me? They said, yes, we'll fight for you. So we have come here to help him in his mission. That's what our idea is. So Prabhupada says we are almost like monkeys of Krishna. We are almost like monkeys. It is better to become monkeys of Ram rather than become a civilized person. That's much better, is it? So you want to become monkeys or a civilized man? Better to become monkeys, no? At least you do something for God. So that is the point. We surrender to him not to protect our interest, but to protect his interest. We surrender to him to serve him and not to be served by him. That's the third reason for surrender. You don't come to him for yourself, for him. That is a beginning of real surrender. That is a beginning of real surrender. Before that, it's just philosophy, is it? I surrender to him because I'm part and parcel of him. I surrender to him because it's my duty. I surrender to him to get free of false ego. That's okay. But that's your agenda. What about God? Is it? So you go to a company and you ask, and the boss will say, okay, so why are you joining this company? So you will answer, it is my duty to serve society. Okay, nice. So why do you join this company? Because I want to earn money. That's okay, but anything else? The main thing is I am joining this company to actually help this company to grow. That's the main thing, no? If you don't tell this, then he will say, come on, get lost. You're just interested in your money and this. What will you help me? Help me. Just get lost from here. So that's the idea. Fourth reason, we surrender to him because we want to reciprocate with the mercy of Lord. So Krishna is so merciful to allow us to serve him. That's his mercy, no? He's so merciful that you're sitting here. He's allowing you to sit here. Is it? You're not sitting by own efforts here. You might have a desire to hear this lecture, but the power to hear this and the power to sit, that's given by Krishna. It's not your own. Because many people might have desire to hear this lecture, but if Krishna doesn't want, if he doesn't give you power, you'll not be able to sit here. You'll not be able to sit here. Suddenly a phone will come. Prabhu, suddenly a phone will come, your wife will say, Prabhu, we have a problem in house, come back. Okay, you have to give the lecture. Wife is calling, God is calling. So, many obstacles will come. Many obstacles. So, you are sitting safe, you're sitting and you're hearing, but you don't understand. There are many powers all around you which want to prevent you to hear this lecture. That's illusion. Illusion's job, she's planning, I should do something so that he should not hear it. And that's what illusion will do. Illusion, Maya has very simple technique to make you fall down. It will not let you hear devotees. And rest automatically it will happen. Automatically everything will happen if you don't hear Krishna's message. So she will do something. She will either, I will call you, or suddenly you will have, my God, I want to go to bathroom. Suddenly. And you will miss entire lecture. Suddenly, I can do anything. Or you have headache. Or there will be a lot of disturbance around you. You will not be able to focus. So many things. You know, so Ayurveda says that we take it for granted that we are healthy. But health is a very rare phenomena. Because there are 3,000 diseases in this world. And you can imagine we don't have even a single of them. Not even a single disease we have out of 3,000 diseases. That's what we know. Many we don't know. And we have perfect health. So health is a rare phenomena. But we take it as granted, no? So somebody is protecting us, no? From those diseases. Similarly, we take it for granted that we are sitting in lecture and hearing. We take it for granted we are chanting. We take it for granted that we are coming for Mangal Aarti, but no, there's so many forces which are stopping you, planning to stop you. But Krishna, by His mercy, He is working in the background. His invisible hand is working, and He is by His angels or His demigods or whatever, He's planning so that you can easily do devotional service. But we tend to forget that, no? So Krishna is doing so much for us. Krishna is allowing us to chant, allowing us to hear this lecture, allowing us to understand it. Some intelligence He's giving you from inside. He's giving you devotees, He's giving you so many things. So a devotee wants to reciprocate with that mercy, no? A gentleman, he will not always keep on taking, no? Is it? So people who do not know this, people who do not know what Krishna is doing in background, they come to Krishna and say, Krishna, give me mercy. Krishna will say, come on, you don't know how much mercy I have already given you. And you're asking for more, you're crazy, your stomach is not full yet or what? That's the problem there. The person in knowledge, person in knowledge are overwhelmed by mercy of God. And they don't ask for mercy. They ask for the strength to repay that mercy. That's what they ask for. Give me strength so that I can repay your mercy. If we can't repay His mercy, that's impossible. But whatever best we can do, we can do. So that is why we come to Krishna to reciprocate for His mercy. So if suppose somebody gives you a gift, then what do you do? What do you do? You go to him and say, Prabhu, so next year one more gift. You don't do that, no. And then they'll say, you're crazy. That's what people are doing when they come to temple. Give me mercy. Give me this. Come on. So a gentleman will do, if somebody gives you gift, gentleman will say, okay, Prabhu, so next time I'll come to your house and I'll give you a gift. That's a gentleman, no? So when we come to temple, we say, Krishna, for millions of lives you have been giving me so nice gifts. One gift is this body, is it? Another gift is human life. Another gift is this sun, moon, water, earth, fire, by which we live. Another gift is devotees now, temple, prasad, holy name, lecture. So Krishna, so now I will give you a gift. And what is that gift we can give to Krishna? What is the best gift you can give to Him? Okay, yeah. No. Okay. The best gift you can give is to yourself. Yourself. That's the best gift you can give. You give your soul to Him. You sell your soul to Him. That's the best gift to Him. You give all your time to Him. You sell your time, sell your soul, sell your thoughts to Him. And once you sell your thoughts to Him, you can't think anything about yourself. Because you're sold. You're sold. A a slave cannot think about himself. He has to think about master. And when you give your time to Him, when you sell your time to Him, you cannot use time for yourself. For your own sense gratification. That's the idea. For yourself means you have to do job, other duties, but you can't use time for gratifying yourself. When you sell your soul to Him, you cannot use feelings for yourself. Soul means feelings, no? Soul is ananda, feelings. You cannot feel anything in sense gratification. You have to feel for Him, not for you. That means your soul to Him. That's why we come. We come here to sell ourselves. That is surrender. We have come here, Krishna, so you buy us by your mercy. And that is so that is this. So we surrender to reciprocate with His mercy. That's the idea. And another reason to surrender to Him is to glorify Him. If we surrender to Him, He will be glorified. You know why? So it's not because we are special. It is because we are absolutely useless. So Krishna will be glorified by that. You know why? Because Narottam Das Thakur sings. So what's that song? What's that song? Supatita Pavan Tume Kishera Lagiya. That song is there. So if I surrender to you, and I am the most fallen, and if you help me, if you accept me, you will be glorified in entire world that you are the most compassionate of all. Is it? Is it? So if a prostitute comes and she says, please accept me, I want to live in a house, will you allow? Come on. She's a prostitute. You don't allow her, no? She's defamed. And if she goes to a saint and she says, I want to live in the ashram, I don't have any place to stay, he will say, okay, fine, stay. No problem. No matter you're a sinner, stay here and serve God. So people will glorify that saint, is it? Like, okay, fine, he's such a nice saint. He didn't care about whether that person is defamed or bad. He allowed them to come in his shelter. That's what devotee says. Krishna, I'm so fallen. I'm worse than a prostitute. A prostitute serves many masters, is it? Except a husband. Similarly, we have been serving many masters except Krishna. Millions of lives we have been serving this, that, some person, another person. We are like prostitutes and we are defamed in the society of demigods. And we go to Krishna and we say, Krishna, please accept her. Krishna says, come on, no problem. Come to me. Come to me. And that's why then people will glorify Krishna. Krishna is so nice and so compassionate that He can accept anybody and everybody without considering his own reputation. He doesn't consider his reputation. And okay, fine, come to my shelter. So to glorify Him, we come to Him. Not to actually just to sing bhajans, but really so that He will be glorified. And the last of all, why we surrender is the most important. We surrender to Krishna to relieve Him from unhappiness. Not just to give Him happiness, but to relieve Him from all his anxieties. And that is why this altar is there. What we tell to Krishna, Krishna, you stand nicely and we will serve you. We come to Krishna to take all his anxieties. Krishna, you give all anxieties to me and you be free of anxiety. You know this. So once Prabhupada was sitting, I think he was sitting in Vrindavan. He was having headache. So I think who was there? I forgot the name of a devotee. He came and he said, Prabhupada, what happened? Prabhupada said, I'm having a headache, lot of anxiety. He said, Prabhupada, what happened? Prabhupada said, see, we are building a temple in Vrindavan and we need money to complete this temple. We are building a temple in Juhu, Bombay. We need money, but I don't know from where this money will come. And this devotee, you know what he said? He said, Prabhupada, I will bring all the money. Don't be in anxiety. Give all your anxiety to me. You be happy. This is called surrender, is it? This is called surrender. It is not that Prabhupada will say, I am feeling so much anxiety, and the devotee will say, Prabhupada, I have brought another anxiety for you. There are some devotees fighting, you have to manage that also. That's absolutely disservice. So we are here not to ask Krishna, relieve us from anxiety. We are here to ask Krishna, give your anxiety to us. That is the ultimate meaning of surrender. If you can understand that, you go back to Him. Spiritual word. But that is very difficult to understand. That is very difficult to understand. Most of us are interested to get rid of anxieties, no? Most of us. Oh, come on, we don't want anxieties. We don't want anxieties. Or most of us can't even conceive this concept that we want to have anxieties. To have anxieties for Krishna is bliss. That is happiness. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Tumhara sevaye dukh hoye jat, sahi to parama sukh. That concept, jnanis, yogis, non-devotees, they can never understand. How can there be happiness in anxieties? That is called love. We are not interested in ordinary peace, ordinary happiness, ordinary bliss. We are interested in a bliss which is beyond dreams of anybody, beyond dreams of anybody to even dream of. That kind of bliss. And that you can understand, that everybody can understand, no? That so you are all working in society, earning money? For whom? For your family, no? For your wife and child? And it is pretty stressful. It is so much anxiety is there. But after your work, after having so much anxiety, your boss will like thrash you or whatever, you will be in traffic and you come back. You have so much anxiety, but when you come back and your child comes, Papa, and all anxiety gone. Because you're doing for Him. You're doing for Him. Just by thinking of Him, you can take all anxieties. And that anxiety will be, at point of time, it will be more blissful. Okay, fine, I'm doing for them. Yes, I should do more. Is it? So that's the idea. So if you think Krishna is yours and you are Krishna's, and then you take anxieties for His anxieties, and that will be bliss for you. That's why we come to Him. So it's just the opposite, no? Just the opposite. People come here to give the anxieties to God. Devotees come here to take His anxieties. People come here to ask for happiness. We are coming here to give happiness to Him. People come here to take help from Him. We are come here to give help to Him. That is called love. And that is why it is said, love walks like a snake. You know, so it is said in Chaitanya Charitamrita. The path of love is like a snake. You will not understand how snake is going, no? Snake walks like this, it doesn't walk straight. You don't know when snake will go here or there, you can't understand. It is crawling and you will not be able to understand his way. Similarly, the ways of love cannot be understood. If you want to understand the ways of love, you have to fall in love. There is no other way. There is no other way. If you want to understand what you mean by surrender, you have to surrender to Him. There is no other way. And this is why we surrender to Krishna. This is all reasons we surrender to Him. If you can understand all these reasons, it is impossible that you will not surrender to Him. Impossible. But if even after hearing this, you don't surrender to Him, then that means then Krishna will be super frustrated, no? He will say, come on, I have given all reasons and still you don't surrender. He will be super frustrated. So in order not to super frustrate Him, understand why you have to surrender to Him and surrender to Him. Okay, so that is why we surrender to Him. Okay. Now the question is, how do we surrender to Him? What is the process of surrender? Okay, we have to surrender to Him, we understand. But how do we do that? How do we start doing that? What are we supposed to do? And that Krishna Himself explains the process of surrender. That is in 15th chapter, 5th verse, Bhagavad Gita. Go and read that, 15.5. This verse, so anybody knows this verse, 15.5? Anybody knows that? Famous verse. Nirman moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama dvandair vimukta sukha dukkha sangair gachanti amura padam avyayam tat. This is a verse. Prabhupada says The surrendering process is described here very nicely. This is the first statement. So how do we surrender? Krishna says, surrender begins with nirman moha. The first step of surrender is leave all your false prestige. And that means the first step in surrender is you should understand that you know nothing. That is, false prestige is this, no? Prestige is, I know many things. That is pride, no? I know devotion. I know Krishna. No. First step of surrender is, Krishna, I don't know anything. I am ignorant, fool. That is nirman moha jita sanga dosha. And the next step of surrender is leave bad association. Leave bad association. Leave association of those so bad association means all that association which is taking you away from God. And what is the worst association? What is the worst association? Anybody tell? Your own mind. So leave associating with your mind. That's all. First, if you associate with your mind, you are digging your own grave. Don't listen to your mind. Your mind will keep on saying this is. Never listen to him, because mind is your enemy now. So that association, there is external association, internal association. Most of us focus on external association, no? So internally the worst association is mind. Externally the worst association is, what is the worst association externally? Externally the worst association is your relatives. I don't say that. Rupa Goswami says that. Our relatives are the worst association. वो कहते हैं ना, मुंह में राम राम बगल में छुरी. You know this? So the idea is our relatives appear as friends, but they are our enemies. Because they are the first people who will come to say, ये क्या कर रहा है? What you are doing? You are chanting? Leave this. So outside people will not say to you as much as your relatives will say. So that's, leave those bad associations. So leaving association. So this doesn't mean that you stop going to relatives. Is it now tomorrow your mama will come and you will say, come on, get lost. Jit sanga dosha. I want to. You don't do like that. The idea is you don't take their ideas. If you are sitting with somebody and you don't accept the ideas, it is as good as not associating with him. Is it? So like for example, we are traveling in train. In train there are so many people sitting around you. Are you associating with them? No. You don't talk to them, they don't talk to you. Or even if they talk to you, you don't really accept their ideas. It's just talking in joking mood, no? It is just entertainment. That's all. You don't accept the ideas seriously. So similarly, when we meet people, we should not accept their ideas. We should also understand that relatives are very dangerous. Relatives can be potentially very dangerous. They can be dangerous, so be careful. Don't associate much with people who will stop you from going to Krishna. Avoid. Make some excuses. You can make some excuse. If your mama is calling, beta come for dinner, and say, mama, I am having stomach ache. Okay, good. Do something. Do something. But you have to be clever enough to live in this society. Clever enough to be a devotee of Krishna. You have to make your own way. That is called Jit Sanga Dosha. Don't associate with Mayavadis. Mahaprabhu says, Krishna Krishna Bhakta. Don't associate with people who are absolutely non-devotees, atheistic people. Don't associate with people who are interested in females, Stri Sangi, who are always talking about complete trash and nonsense. Don't associate. Now, today we have to add the list. One more thing. Don't associate with Facebook. Don't associate with WhatsApp. That's the worst association you have in your pocket. Don't associate. Just delete your Facebook. That's all. Finish. And I tell you, you will be much happier in your life. Definitely you will be much happier. Is it like that? No? And all this WhatsApp, and it's a crazy thing, and you'll go mad. That's association, no? All these pranks. You get pranks? And then, okay, one prank. Okay, this prank is just 5 seconds. You click and you see that. But what is happening is, those 5 seconds of image will remain in your mind for 5 million lives. It will never go. Because once mind takes a photograph, you can't erase it. In laptop you have delete button, but in mind you don't have. It will always be there. Once you see anything, even for a fraction of second, it will always be there in your mind. And that will come back again once. In this life or next life, it will come back. And it will make you to do the same thing what you were watching. You will do the same thing. So next life you'll be doing the same prank and somebody will be watching you. It might happen. Mind is very dangerous. Very dangerous. Even 1/8 of a second of association with anything in this material world is very dangerous, except association with devotees and God. Is it? That's very nice. So don't be fooled by this. Okay, this prank is just 1 second and we can see. What is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? No, you are, by seeing that, you are ensuring your millions of next birth. We will have to come back. And I'm not saying, it is said in all Puranas. All Puranas. So there's a story in Vishnu Puran. And that story, so it's a long story, but to cut it short. So there was a king and he had a friend who was complete non-devotee. This king was a devotee. And because he was a devotee, he left him. Like he left his association, fine. But after many years, they met each other on the road. And that king just associated with him for 1 second. That's all. He asked, what you are doing? He said, so he said, king, I am earning this money. I have a business and this and that. And then that's over. And for that 1 second of association, he had to take another birth. Because that 1 second of association gave him an idea that I should also earn money. That idea went in his mind. He could understand. Even Dhruva Maharaj. So what about Dhruva? Dhruva was a sannyasi in previous life. You know this? He was a sannyasi. He was a big sannyasi. But the problem was he had a friend who was prince. And he used to come to him to meet him. And they used to talk. And so slowly his subconscious mind developed a desire to become prince. And that's why he was born as a prince in next life. So you don't know how mind works. That's why Krishna says, be careful. Choose your association. Choose your association. If you have to associate with non-devotees at your work, with your relatives, if you have to associate, be careful. Don't accept their ideas. Don't accept their ideas. Do the needful there. Whatever is required, do that. But don't accept their ideas. Otherwise, you'll be in a problematic situation. So, Jita Sangha Dosha, that's how that's a surrendering process. And then Adhyatma Nitya. And then, so if you don't associate with other people, then you save time, is it? If you don't associate with non-devotees, you save time. If you don't see WhatsApp, Facebook, you save time. And when you save time, then you do Adhyatma Nitya. Adhyatma Nitya means you spend time in spiritual life. Read, chant, make good impressions in your mind, not bad impressions. Make good impressions. And if you do like this, then Krishna says, you will definitely come to me. You will be free of lust, anger, greed, dualities, and you will come back to me. This is the process of surrender. In summary, how to surrender. But the last question, which is most important, is what is surrender? That's the most important question. And surrender in Sanskrit it is called Sharanagati. You know this, no? So there are other names of, we have other synonyms of Sharanagati. Like for example, Prapatti. It's called Prapatti in Shri Sampradaya. You have heard this in Prapatti? It is also called Kankarya. Kankarya means servant. It is also called Nyas Vidya. Nyas, sannyas. Nyas means to surrender. Vidya means knowledge. So Sharanagati is also called as Nyas Vidya. Sharanagati is also called as called as Atma Samarpanam. That's also Sharanagati. So all these names are said in Rig Veda. Vedas talk about Sharanagati. Upanishads talk about Sharanagati. Like for example, in ISKCON we have this book, Isa Upanishad. Isa Upanishad has 18 mantras. You know this, no? 18 shlokas. The last verse talks about surrender. Agne supatha raya asmin. It says there. It says, "O my Lord, who are like fire. O Krishna, who are like fire, who can burn all sins to ashes. Agne supatha." Supatha means lead me on the right path. Shishi Nil Madhav ki jai. So Agne supatha rayasmin, lead me to right path. That is Sharanagati. Sharanagati means you are asking Krishna to lead you to the right path. So the knowledge of Sharanagati is mentioned in scriptures, in Upanishads, in Vedas, and in so many scriptures. But what is Sharanagati? That is, there is a verse in Prabhupada gives that verse again and again, what is Sharanagati. And can anybody tell that verse? What is the verse for Sharanagati? Yeah, the verse is Anukulasya Sankalpa, Pratikulasya Varjanam, then Rakshishyati iti Vishvaso Gopt Prite Varnam Tatha Atnikshepa Karpanne Shadvidha Sharanagati. There are 6 symptoms of surrender. If you want to know whether I am surrendered or not, you have to see these symptoms. If these symptoms are there in you, then you can understand you have surrendered. If the symptoms are not in you, then you can understand you are simply imagining you are surrendered, but you are not. That's all. So what are the symptoms? So this verse Prabhupada quotes, but originally this verse is quoted from from a Samhita, and the name of that Samhita is Ahir Budhaniya Samhita. That's what is the original source of this verse. Ahir Budhaniya Samhita. It is quoted from that. And there are 6 symptoms of Sharanagati, surrender. Now the 6 symptoms. First is Anukulasya Sankalpa. So the first symptom of surrender is that if you are really surrendered to Krishna, you will accept whatever is favorable for devotional service without any hesitation. Without any hesitation, you will accept whatever is favorable. So if somebody tells you, Krishna will accept your surrender if you die, immediately you will die. Because death is now favorable to surrender. So you will not hesitate to die. That's the idea. That is called Anukulasya Sankalpa. So Srila Prabhupada's Guru Bhaktisiddhanta, so once he was going Darjeeling in his car, and he had his servant sitting besides, and he just stopped the car and he said, "I'll be very happy if you jump from this cliff down. Just jump." And that devotee, you know what he did? He just got down and he said, "I have one question, Guru Maharaj." And most of us will ask, "Why are you asking me to jump?" No, that's the question. But he asked, "How high you want me to jump? You want me to jump from here or higher or higher? How much high? Tell me. I'm ready to jump." And that is Anukulasya Sankalpa. Anything which can please Krishna and his devotees, you are ready to accept without hesitation. Immediately. That is a symptom of surrender, is it? It's like that, no? If you are surrendered to your girlfriend, whatever she says, you will do. 100%. Is it? And that's what movies are made, no? So that girl says, "So will you bring the moon for me?" He will say, yeah, I will bring the moon for you. He's ready to do anything. So if that girl says, "Do you really love me?" He says, "Yeah, I really love you." So she says, "Will you shoot somebody for me?" He says, "Yes, I will shoot whatever you say." That happens, no? Happens, no? Like people go mad in love. That is a symptom of surrender. For Krishna, we can do anything. And that's what Krishna asked Arjuna. Krishna said, Arjuna, will you shoot your guru? Arjuna was hesitating first, but then he understood, yes, Surrender means anukula se sankalpa. Whatever pleases Krishna, I am ready to do without hesitation. After hearing Bhagavad Gita, he understands, he takes up his bow and arrow, he says, yes, I am ready to shoot my Guru, no problem. If it pleases you, if it is favorable, I am ready, without any hesitation. Without any hesitation. That's the important thing. We might accept what is favorable to devotion with some hesitation, is it? Yeah, it is favorable, but you know why, I don't know what to do, what not to do, but anyway, let's do, otherwise it's offense. Mostly we do out of fear and not out of anukula se sankalpa. It is not out of surrender, it's out of fear. So, but the symptom of surrender is, so anukula se sankalpa is not just to accept what is favorable to devotion, it's not just that. To accept what is favorable without hesitation. That you have to put in the point. So, and that is why it is called anukulasya. It is not anukul. Anukul is different from anukul. It is a. So, if you say anukul, it is just referring to actions. Anukul refers to your mood. Mood also. That if you go in Sanskrit, you will understand. It's anukulasya sankalpa. Without hesitation, that component is there. And then, so next symptom of surrender is, what's that? No, it is not pratikul, it is pratikulasya varjanam. So it is not anukulasya sankalpa, it is anukulasya. Because you have to add that mood of without hesitation. And it is not pratikulasya, it is pratikulasya. Because this means, second symptom of surrender is you reject everything what is unfavorable to devotional service. But you have to add here one thing. And you have to add the mood. The mood is you reject everything what is unfavorable to devotional service, and never look back. That's the idea. You reject it. It's the same thing. You reject it without hesitation. You accept without hesitation, and you reject without hesitation. So it is not pratikul. If you say pratikul, then the mood of hesitation is not there. It is pratikul. You reject without hesitation. So if somebody says, okay, leave tea, fine. Without hesitation, okay. From today, left. Leave drinking, okay. From today, finished. So all like that, from today. So you want to leave. You are interested in leaving for Krishna. And that's what Prabhupada says. Krishna arthe akhila cheshta tyag. So if you feel that this will please my Lord, fine. Forget it. If Krishna comes and tells you, I'll be very pleased if you donate all your money to poor. Okay? Tomorrow you go to bank account, take all your money and finish. And this happened. This happened in Shrimad Bhagavatam. Pingla, you know Pingla? Prostitute. So that Avadut, he came to Pingla, prostitute, and he said, I'll be very pleased if you donate all your money to poor and then worship Krishna. So on that night, she took all her wealth, just distributed it that night. She became absolutely with no money, just one sari, and she was chanting holy names. That is called pratikulasya varjanam. We have all stupid thoughts in our mind, no? Stupid thoughts. Just pratikulasya, just leave them. Just leave them without hesitation. Don't worry. Just leave all your sense gratification, all your attachments. Don't worry. Don't worry. Leave all your attachments. If you leave for Krishna, Krishna will never leave you. He'll be obliged. That is pratikulasya. That is second symptom. And the third symptom is rakshishati iti vishvaso. This is the most important symptom of Sharanagati. Rakshishati iti vishvaso. That means a devotee has faith that Krishna will definitely protect me. Protect me from what? Protect me from what? Protect me from illusion. Protect me from running away from Him. That's what we want, no? We want to run away from Him. If given a chance, nobody of you will come to the temple. If given a chance, nobody. वो तो because we are initiated, so we have to chant 16 rounds. We are stuck up. Otherwise, who wants to chant? Come on. Just be true to yourself. So that is Rakshishati Vishwa. So we are convinced, we know that we want to leave Him. But we also know that He doesn't want to leave us. So, who is going to win? He or us? He never fails. Even if we leave him, if he doesn't want to leave us, no matter where we will go in this material world, he'll pull us back. And that is Rakshishati iti Vishvaso. We are confident that he will protect us no matter how much stupidity or nonsense we do, provided we do first two things, Anukula se Sankalpa, Pratikula se Varjanam. If we are sincere in that, then Krishna will protect us. If we are not sincere in that, then sorry, then he's going to protect us. So, Rakshishati iti Vishvaso, Goptvrite Varnam Tata. Fourth symptom of surrender is Krishna will maintain us. Goptvrite Varnam Tata is he'll maintain us. So a devotee need not, Krishna says, you need not worry about your money, food and shelter. You simply serve me, I will provide you. No problem. If you want to do an experiment, do an experiment. And that experiment, so in fact that experiment I did. When I was in my home, I read this verse and I read Krishna is maintainer. I thought, well, is it really true or not? So I thought, okay, let's do an experiment. Let's leave everything and become full-time. Because as a householder, you will not really understand, what is the meaning of Krishna maintaining you. So then I became full-time, and so in last 21 years, I am there as full-time and no problems. No problem. Money, food. In fact, I eat more than food than Like Prabhu, so Satyabhak Prabhu, he is enjoying with me. He's with me, so he's getting nice food. Otherwise, who gives him food? They don't have even time to make food in the house. They're suffering because of malnourishment. But for us, no problem. Krishna maintains his devotees. Krishna will give you everything. If you give everything to Krishna, he will give you everything. It's reciprocation, no? If you give yourself to him, he will give himself to you. It's just reciprocation. Krishna is like a mirror, no? If you shout in the mirror, that image will shout at you. Is it? If you kiss the image, that image will kiss you. So if you give everything to Krishna, Krishna will give everything to you. And that he is saying for true. He is saying that I will maintain you. Don't worry. Don't worry. So as a householder, you don't need to become full-time. As a householder, don't worry about your money, about your plans, about your future. You can plan for that, but don't be dependent much on that. Save time. Save time and invest time to serve him and to understand him, because everything will come back, but not time. Time will never come back. You can adjust everything, you can manipulate everything, but you cannot manipulate time. That's out of your control. So that's Goptvrite Varnam Tata. Krishna is promising. Krishna is giving you promise that I will do, don't worry. And then the fifth symptom is At-Nikshepa. And the fifth symptom, At-Nikshepa, means total surrender. So At-Nikshepa means employing your body, mind and word in the service of Krishna. So, Karmana, Manasa and Vacham. So this is a fifth symptom of surrender. Anybody who surrendered, he will always speak about Krishna. Anybody who surrendered, he'll always serve him. Anybody who surrendered, he will always think about him. Karmana, Manasa and Vacha. So that Prabhupada says, he will not waste time. He will try to serve him in all respects. That Prabhupada says in his... Read Prabhupada books. Prabhupada's statements are very, very deep and very realized. Prabhupada says, devotee will serve him in all respects. We don't like to leave any atom of our body free and not in service of Lord. We want each atom of our body to serve him. So we save time and serve him. And the sixth symptom is Karpanya. Karpanya means in spite of serving him, in spite of putting efforts, in spite of having full confidence in him, still a devotee is humble. And he will say, my dear Krishna, I am a useless devotee. I can't do anything for you. In spite of doing everything, he will say, I can't do anything for you. In spite of accepting favorable and rejecting unfavorable, a devotee will say, Krishna, I am so foolish, I don't know what is favorable and what is unfavorable. You see, that is humbleness. He will not take the credit of doing everything on himself. He will give all this credit to Krishna. Krishna, it's by your power I have this understanding. It's by your power I am able to do all these things. So, whatever I am doing, I take from you and offer it back to you. Just like you take Ganges water and offer it back to the river Ganges. That is 6 symptoms of Sharanagati. If you find these symptoms in yourself, then you are surrendered. The more you find these symptoms, the more you are surrendered. It's directly proportional, that's all. So now you have to see where you are. I've explained. And if you lack surrender, then fine tune all these things. Fine tune. Increase your surrender. 100% surrender is love. Your life is perfect. That's what is. Why do you surrender? What is surrender? And how do you surrender? That's Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. So just a minute. I just wanted to announce as before. There are some books. You can get those books. Devotees who are coming, they already know. But devotees who are online or demigods, I like to call them demigods. They're somewhere in the sky. So for them, I just wanted to tell that. Anyway, I'll just tell quickly. No need to waste time there. And just inform you. So here are these are 2 CDs. See, just like I explained you Sharanagati and so many seminars I have given. You can hear in this. This is like 140 hours of English and Hindi lectures. You can listen in car, in your phone. Keep on listening. 100 times reading is 1 time listening. You will not be able to take this out by your own reading. Or maybe it'll take time. So here, just as we have heard, you can also hear. So this you can take. It's available. These pen drives, and you can hear. And these are 3 books. That's all I've explained before. Whatever I'm talking, it's from this book, Mighty Efforts. Whatever these lectures, much of the points. And Mighty Efforts, you have to put efforts to serve Krishna. This is Crazy Ideas. It's helpful for preaching and many ideas. Why so many gods? Why so many scriptures? So many people ask you questions. Your relatives, your friends, but you don't have convincing answers. Those answers I have put there from philosophy, from other scriptures, to give you a broad idea. And this is one book on science, on genetics and life, which everybody can understand. Your children can understand it. Children ask, no, evolution is right, what is genetics? You don't have a proper answer. This will give you proper answer for that. So you can have this, you can see there, you can have these books. They are little bit limited, so it might finish, I don't know. So you can see that in the back. And again, thank you very much for listening. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.